war on healing. For shame. On Saturday, November 18th, yesterday, a statement from Dr. Ahmed al-Mukhallalati, a physician at the Shifa Hospital in Gaza, stated that Israel has ordered every single doctor, nurse, healthcare worker, and patient to evacuate Al-Shifa Hospital. That is all patients, no matter how critical and no matter what their condition is. Being forced to move out of the very center that is treating your life-threatening injuries. That is the reality on the ground. Intensive care patients who rely on intensive and critical medications and fluids and machines. And little tiny babies in incubators. The strongest army in the world against the hospital. For shame. Against babies, defenseless babies. But the doctors there are steadfast, and according to Dr. Ahmed al-Mukhallalati, 5 doctors are refusing to leave and have told the Israelis directly that we refuse to leave and we will stay here with the 120 patients that simply cannot be disconnected from their machinery and from their IV poles and from their medications. If you want to kill us, you're going to have to kill us all, but we are not abandoning our patients. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! A hospital that usually has the capacity to treat 700 patients. Al-Shifa Hospital, that typically has the capacity, with all of its resources, with all of its employees, to treat 700 patients, was up until yesterday treating 5,000 patients, 5,000 people, between injured and between those who are dying. The illegal colonizers taking bodies from Al-Shifa Hospital from the refrigerators to unknown locations.
Shame!
And then they have the audacity to tell us where to take our plight for human life, our plight for justice, and our plight for liberation.
Shame on them.
According to a preliminary UN aerial assessment of Gaza, 45% of homes in Gaza have been destroyed. That's half. Half of homes have been destroyed in Gaza. Half residential areas have been completely destroyed and are uninhabitable. That's over 40,000 units destroyed and another 222,000 partially damaged. That leaves 1.6 million Gazans in Gaza displaced. For shame. As so, the life expectancy in Gaza is a decade shorter than those who live in Israel. That's 10 years. The people in Gaza have 10 less years of their lives than the colonizers in Israel. This is purposeful. This is precise. This is a tactical measure that the colonizer takes on the people of Palestine and on those who live in Gaza. We expose the incessant lies of Israel. You have no morality and you have no decency. When IV medications are being housed by personnel or hung on the ceilings of the hospitals instead of on a pole like everywhere else in the world. So today we send our healing power and rage to our medical comrades in Gaza. Stay steadfast. The collective punishment on Gazans is not as strong as our collective movement for liberation. End the genocide, ceasefire now, end apartheid, end the occupation. Long live Palestine, free Palestine.
Now it's time for our second speaker to speak on how queer liberation is interconnected with Palestinian liberation.
I am a Black, queer, disabled, first-generation American. Out of my 19 years, I've been out for 8, and never have I been so disappointed in my queer community. The lack of solidarity for Palestinian resistance is both disheartening but also unsurprising. After all, Israel boasts itself to be a queer safe space. The #1 gay destination, in fact, and it claims that no self-respecting queer person would ever support the liberation of Palestinian peoples. People who allegedly are deeply homophobic and would not fight for you if it came down to it, so why should you fight for them? Shame. You are deeply mistaken if you think that the roots of queer liberation are not aligned with that of freedom for Palestinian people. Pride started out as a riot against the police brutalization and systemic oppression of queer people. Pride is a celebration of survival because brown and Black people with no resources besides community decided to yield bricks when their oppressors yielded guns. So let me ask you, where is the pride in IDF soldiers holding rainbow flags, our symbol of survival, over the rubble of Gaza? Which oppressor did they resist? A nationless state of displaced people? Because nothing screams resistance like an international military superpower demolishing defenseless people and children, right? Yeah. Do bombs solve homophobia? Homophobia that, do not be mistaken, is very prominent in Israeli culture and community as well. Is Israel truly accepting of queer people if it's only on the terms that they're not queer and Palestinian? That they're not queer and Arab? That they're not queer and Black? We will never get anywhere while we continue to let the oppressor pin us against each other. We will never get anywhere if we let pinkwashing and promises of gay paradise push us towards supporting genocide. Is queer paradise built on the graves of brown children? No. Some of those who are also queer? If you are not for the freedom and safety of all queer people, then you are for the freedom and safety of no queer people. Pinkwashing gets our numbers on their side, our compliance, our complacency, our support, until it is no longer of use to them. Then they can stop pretending that they actually like us. Homophobia, Islamophobia, white supremacy, racism, ableism, anti-Semitism, they're all symptoms of the same disease. Colonialism, imperialism, white supremacy, these systems aren't failing. They're perfectly thriving and accomplishing what they're meant to accomplish. They're keeping certain people of power, but most of us in chains. Chains we don't even know we have. They create wars between our communities so they can continue to grow unchecked. And they don't even have to hide their atrocities because we're so convinced that we have to fight each other. This is just classic divide and conquer. And if they convince us that our battles are separate ones, we will never band together and fight the common enemy because we're too busy fighting each other. All our fights are connected. All our struggles are connected. Gaza, Congo, Sudan. But when I say fight, don't fight because you found some way to connect a distant issue to your personal life. Fight because you're human. You are a person, and people are dying. People are being targeted. Knowing that alone should be enough. Genocide is bad. Do I have to say that? No. There are no shades of gray. only shades of red in genocide. So let us use our greatest weapon, solidarity, community, and let us free Palestine.
Thank you. Now it's time for our third speaker.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. Thank you all for coming out here today. It's remarkable that after 43 days of genocide, as more atrocities have been committed, the support is still as strong as ever. Alhamdulillah. For many of us, we have known the long list of crimes committed by the colonizer state Israel. And we have seen the war since we were old enough to know what it meant when they bombed people that look like you. For some of us, this is one of the many protests since our childhood that we have attended. For some of us, this is our first. Regardless, these atrocities had followed us day and night, robbing us of our sanity, our peace, our time, a small price to pay, since Israel's tirade against the innocents of Palestine have robbed them of not only their peace, but their livelihood, their bodies, and their dreams. As a Muslim, seeing the Palestinian people that speak the same tongue as my mother and father, seeing them make the same prayers we make, only this time in a plea for mercy, I feel this genocide as if it was happening to me. I see my mother in the women that hold on to their dead children with their blood on her hands. I see my father in the traumatized men that pick through the rubble to find pieces of their family. For shame. I see my young cousins in the eyes of children who have lost their entire bloodline so early in life. As an aspiring psychologist, I can only begin to imagine the lifelong traumatic effects of this war on the men, the women, the children. I can only begin to imagine the effects of the image of a beheaded child, of the images of the rows upon rows upon rows upon rows of dead bodies lined up in mass graves that will inevitably be bombed. I can only imagine the PTSD from the doctors trying to save lives while their own families are being slaughtered. I can't even begin to fathom the treatment that will need to be done and how many more lives we will lose due to the psychological warfare that Israel has caused. I can't even fathom the amount of work that will need to be put in to begin to heal their minds of the violence of the Israeli colonization. The survivor's guilt can be paralyzing. We can so easily turn it off and continue our day. But I want to make it clear, it is not normal to see dead bodies every day on our phones. It is not normal to get used to seeing the screams, to hearing the screams of our mothers, our fathers, our children as they lose everything. It is not normal to see the still, tinted, and shocked faces of dead children. It is not normal to get used to seeing flattened cities, flattened homes, flattened universities, flattened hospitals, flattened graves. This tirade of violence is not normal and has not been normal for the last 75 years. cannot look away. We have seen not only the physical, but psychological damages that Israel has and continued to put the Palestinians through. Bombing random areas, no place being safe, not even a hospital. Constant aircraft noises day and night, while the Israelis lie through their teeth and call the baby in the NICU they just pulled the plug on a terrorist. We must not get used to this. This is not normal. This is our test. This is our battle. Israel is fighting us all. Just how it's not normal in Ukraine, in Armenia, for the Uyghurs in China, in Congo, in Sudan, in Bosnia. It is not normal now. By letting this be normal, we let them win our minds. We must continue to fight, not only for a ceasefire, but the expulsion of the illegal settlement of Israel. Only then can the even more difficult work begin, the healing. May Allah protect the people of Palestine. May Allah protect the murders of Palestine. May Allah protect the children of Palestine. May Allah protect the livelihood and the spirit of the people of Palestine. Ameen.
Give it up for our fourth speaker.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. I am speaking on behalf of People for Palestine San Diego today. I want to start off by saying I'm grateful to everyone that came and want to praise the humanity all of you have shown, one that is difficult to find when it comes to Palestinian liberation. As someone from Gaza, my heart aches when I have to defend the value of my people's lives, the value of my family's life. I feel I am battling the oppressors and those that follow the narrative fed to them, choosing to believe what they say and choosing to ignore our death because it is not convenient for them to care. Instead, every day I have to deal with the guilt of being from Gaza, but enjoying all the privileges my family can't. I am told to be silent about my country's suffering for the sake of everyone else's comfort. I am silenced for your comfort. My people's death burdens them. The word Palestine should not make you uncomfortable. The word genocide should. They politicize my people's death, trading comfort for ignorance. I am the one who should be uncomfortable. I am the one coping with survivor's guilt. I am the one waiting to see if my family's safe. What's really uncomfortable is watching the genocide of my people. The Palestinian people are born into the label of terrorists and animals. Our newborns aren't human enough to them, and our people haven't been for generations. When did the human race's bigotry become so embedded in our lives that it can't extend empathy to babies unless they're white? When did I become an animal and a terrorist? Was it when I was born? Do we not have beating hearts the same as you? Do we not bleed the same as you? When did your blood become worth more than mine? When did Israeli blood become worth more than mine? The Western world is turning Palestinian blood into currency. Reducing my people to the value of their land is what you call a war crime. This is a war crime. We suffer every day in silence, and every death becomes a statistic. We're not any different. Our children aren't any different. Each Palestinian life is as valuable as any other human. We are human. They forget that Palestinian liberation is being justified. Thousands of dead Palestinians aren't commemorated. The innocent children that were never given a chance at life were mocked as Israeli soldiers shot them down. I will keep speaking until people hear every generation of Palestinians' anger. I am